The days after the funeral felt like standing inside a church after the organ stops. Echoes of grief still bouncing off the walls, but the room itself hollow. The man was gone. The sun had nearly joined him, and the country was caught somewhere between mourning and rage. But this time, unlike so many times before, there would be consequences. Darren McConnell sat in a windowless cell, stripped of his badge, his weapon, and his illusion of control. The arrogance he'd worn like a uniform had started to peel away. No more police privileges. No union rep visits. No soft interviews behind closed doors. His attorney, a thin-lipped man with a heavy Southern accent, had advised him not to speak publicly. But McConnell couldn't help himself. They twisted the story. He told a jail guard one night, "That man was dangerous. You saw how he moved." But what the world saw was different. And for once, the world refused to look away. Federal prosecutors charged McConnell with attempted second-degree murder, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, official misconduct, violation of civil rights under color of law, reckless endangerment as state funeral. The final charge was unprecedented, but necessary. The symbolism mattered, the setting mattered, and the victim? A black man honoring his decorated father at a military funeral. The courtroom, when the day came, would not be neutral ground. It would be a reckoning. In a quiet house outside Richmond, Marcus Braxton prepared for the trial. He reviewed every frame of the footage. He met with prosecutors. He sat through trauma therapy sessions that often ended in silence. He couldn't eat, could barely sleep. The program from his father's funeral, now framed and water-damaged, sat on his nightstand, a daily reminder of how close he had come to becoming a headline. One night, as thunder rolled outside, he turned to his mother and asked, if he had pulled the trigger, would they have believed it was a mistake? Celeste Braxton didn't answer. With words, she simply reached for her son's hand and held it tight. As the trial date neared, America did what it always does when race and policing collide. It divided. Conservative pundits framed McConnell as a scapegoat, a sacrificial lamb for a grieving country. One anchor even claimed he was protecting a national security event. He had a split second. This is about politics, not justice. But the other side was louder. Veterans marched. Faith leaders held press conferences. Civil rights groups aired commercials reminding viewers of who General Braxton was and what had been threatened that day. You aimed at a man, one had declared, but you nearly killed a nation's soul. Jury selection became a battlefield. The defense tried to exclude anyone who had marched, tweeted, or shown sympathy to the Braxton family. But the footage was so overwhelming, so public, so undeniable, that finding someone untouched by the story was impossible. The judge, an older black woman named Judge Gloria Kendrick, known for her razor-sharp tongue and unflinching moral compass, issued a statement. This is not just about one man's actions. This is about the systems that made those actions possible. We will not pretend otherwise. Opening statements. The courtroom packed. Press in the back, veterans in the front, police officers lining the walls. Marcus Braxton, in a tailored Navy suit, took the stand on day 3. His voice didn't shake. He spoke with the calm his father had taught him. He didn't see a grieving son. He didn't see a citizen. He saw a threat, and he was ready to kill. Then came the footage. The courtroom watched, frame by frame, as McConnell raised a gun. The gasp that followed was collective. The silence afterward, unbearable. The defense tried to paint Marcus as unpredictable, agitated, even aggressive in posture. But every witness, every recording, and every ounce of common sense destroyed that argument. Celeste Braxton testified. So did Colonel Reggie Holmes, who received a standing ovation as he exited the stand. The defense offered McConnell the chance to testify in his own defense. He declined. After 4 days of deliberation, the jury returned. The room was electric with tension. Cameras weren't allowed, but the world waited. The foreman stood. On the charge of attempted second-degree murder, we find the defendant guilty. On the charge of aggravated assault, guilty. On the charge of violation of civil rights, guilty. Each word hit, like a drumbeat of long-delayed justice. McConnell's face twisted, not in remorse, but in disbelief. The sentence? Life in prison, without parole. Judge Kendrick looked at him one final time. You dishonored your badge. You dishonored the man we buried that day. And you nearly created a widow in the very moment she buried her husband. There is no forgiveness for that. Not here. Not now. The verdict made headlines around the world. Justice at last. Cop who aimed at General's son gets life. But Marcus Braxton didn't celebrate. He stood outside the courthouse, flanked by veterans, his mother beside him, and said, "This isn't victory. This is survival. And we should not have to fight this hard to survive grief. My father taught me that the truth demands sacrifice. We made ours. Now the system must make its own.